storm's supposed to hit Laramie later tonight, but we've got basketball. First of a doubleheader in the Mountain West Conference, Utah State, Wyoming. You are watching March to March, presented by Principal. And in 1943, the Cowboys marched all the way to New York in a national championship. Tonight in the Mountain West, it's our first of two in our Mountain West doubleheader, Utah State and Wyoming. And in the Mountain West for Utah State, every game important. San Diego State later on against Colorado State is our second game. Hi, everybody. Rich Waltz, along with former Gonzaga All-American Dan Dickau. Wyoming will be without their head coach, Jeff Linder, tonight. He's left the team to be by the side of his father, who is ill. And our thoughts are with Coach Linder and the entire Linder family. Let's talk Utah State, Dan. 34 in the net right now, and it feels like every game is a must-win to get them off the bubble.
Well, they're sitting on that proverbial bubble without a quad one win at this time. They're still searching for that, and in doing that, you can't let an opportunity like tonight slide.
They'd had an opportunity against Nevada. They were down 21, biggest comeback in school history, and Stephen Ashworth led the way.
One of the best shooters in all of the country. He can shoot it off the catch. He can shoot it off the bounce. He's had a really good senior season, but the most impressive thing is when Rylan Jones went out with an injury midway through, he's picked up his point guard responsibilities.
With all the players Wyoming has lost, is there a player in this conference with a bigger heart than Hunter Maldonado?
He does everything. He means everything to this program. His statistical numbers are climbing in every single category. With roster shakeup a couple weeks back, he's added more scoring responsibilities. He's been a tremendous player.
Are you ready for a Mountain West doubleheader? Well, here we go. It starts with Utah State trying to polish that resume, and Hunter Maldonado trying to work his magic. Utah State, Wyoming coming up. .7,500 feet high elevation in Laramie. Utah State 21-7. Ryan Odom's team is 10-5, 34 in the net, and looking for a win here on the road. And as Dan pointed out, every game, even if it's not a quad one opportunity, they need to win. Starting lineups for both of these teams. For Utah State, that great comeback against Nevada, that could turn into a quad one win if Nevada pops inside 30 and below. And Hunter Maldonado's got some help, especially three-point shooters. And Wyoming needs Brendan Wenzel and Xavier Dussel to hit threes. And we told you that Jeff Linder is not here tonight. On the left, Sundance Wicks. He handles the offense. Ken DeWeese handles the defense. DeWeese will act as the head coach and will speak to the officials, but it is a co-coach situation tonight.
DeWeese has been with Coach Linder for quite some time, going back to Northern Colorado. Sundance Wicks, a native Wyoming.
Ready to roll. First possession, Wyoming. They showed just how dangerous they are 2 games ago when they went to New Mexico and won at the pit, and it was not a nail-biter. They, at times, dominated that game. Shoga gets a hand on it, pries it loose. And Utah State wants to play up-tempo tonight because Wyoming has very little depth. And Bairstow, right out of the gate, buries a three.
Bairstow's that guy who does a little bit of everything. Sometimes he leaves you searching, wanting more, but he lets the game dictate what he does that night. Never imposes his will on it.
Dussel around a screen, down the lane, right hand, nice drive. And a 3-2 start here in Laramie.
You mentioned Utah State wants to play at a faster pace. They typically score in the upper 70s.
Oh, Ashworth with a nice pass, and Dorius finishes.
Dorius has played really well over the last 12 games or so. Gives them a little bit of defensive presence on the interior. Not a great shot blocker, but he alters many shots, and he's a screen and dive finisher.
Oden has played well at times, misses the jumper. Dorius with the rebound. Ashworth was coming off the bench until the injury to Ryland Jones, and Jones is still out, though he is here. And Shulga buries a three.
Right off the bat, you see a couple of threes from the Aggies. They lead the country in three-point percentage at just under 41%. They've got a number of guys that have the freedom to shoot anytime they see daylight.
And Ashworth is second in the nation. Dussel uncorks a three.
We talk about shooting it well from beyond the arc. In conference play, Dussel at 45%. It's a good sign getting him going early.
Shulga again. Goodness. Utah State, who outscored Nevada 43-19 in the second half to complete that comeback win. Looks like they're still playing against Nevada in that second half.
Yeah, they were on fire in that second half, as was Will Baker to start the game. I watched the first half just for the prep in this game. Will Baker had maybe the greatest 5-minute stretch I've ever seen. 5 made threes.
22 points in
was
5 minutes. Well, that's one of the things that they do so well. They shoot threes, and it's not just Ashworth. Shulga can shoot them. Bairstow picks his spots. He can shoot it. And then Taylor Funk, who's a big, really a stretch 4, is dangerous as well.
Taylor Funk, he'll be in a lot of pick and pop scenarios. 6th-year senior, played his first 5 years, including a redshirt year at St. Joe's in Philadelphia.
There's the pop into the corner. Ashworth. He's off on the 3. Bairstow knocks it out of bounds. Wyoming is really thin, and for Ken DeWeese and Sundance Wicks, of course, they lost Graham Ike, preseason player of the year in the conference, Noah Reynolds, their leading scorer, and then the 3 players that left. Maldonado is the last Cowboy up right now in terms of starting lineup. But the guys that have come off the bench and have played a lot, Dussel, Oden, this guy Wenzel, they've had their moments.
You talk to the coaching staff, and they love the maturity that this whole ball club has taken into it. The older guys like Maldonado approaching it the right way. The young guys, the experience, the work ethic they're showing, the improvement that they're showing. But they've had lots of different things they've had to work through this year. They lead the country in 16 different starting lineups.
It's not the category that you want on Ken Palm. That's a foul, as Wenzel got Funk, sort of. And Taylor Funk will get to the line and shoot 2. And the thing about Wyoming, they are so young, so maybe it's not a surprise that they went into New Mexico, beat New Mexico decisively, and then came back home and lost to Air Force. And Air Force, I'm telling you, they are starting to win games.
Yeah, they are a tough out again with Joe Scott running the Princeton offense. They've got a lot of tough, hard-nosed players. But you're right in the fact that a lot of times young players, you don't know what you don't know. So you don't know how hard it is to go into the pit in Albuquerque and come away with a win.
Dorius out, and Dan Akin, the Brit, the graduate student, is coming in.
Look for him to be active on the glass. Leads the country in double-doubles off the bench. He would start for most teams, but he has found a role as the 6th man with Utah State, and it's fit him well.
He's a versatile defender, which means he's going to be on Maldonado while he's in. And you can see him chase Maldonado to the wing. Dussel around the screen. Wenzel thought about a 3, got Bairstow in his face. Shot clock down. Hunter Thompson takes the 3, and it rims out. Bairstow has the rebound. Lob and a dunk. Akin from Bairstow.
This Utah State team really has no traditional point guard other than Ryland Jones, who's out with injury. Ashworth will handle it at times. Shulga can initiate offense, as can Bairstow.
Dussel. Boy, both teams shooting it well. Wyoming just 8-18. They were selected 2nd in the preseason poll in the conference. That's before everybody got hurt.
Nice pass.
Akin blocked from behind, and the ball still goes in.
That's when you know it's going Utah State's way right now. Block shot leads to a bucket.
Kenny Foster in right now for Wyoming. Wyoming's bench is essentially 3 deep. Dussel fires it. And the rebound to Thompson, and he's fouls. He'll get free throws. Max Shulga, Mountain West Conference Player of the Week, hot right now, and Utah State off to a great start. You are watching March to March tonight, presented by Principal. Hot start, Utah State, a 17-8 lead. Daisy Cottage Cheese brings us, along with Dan Dickow, our keys to the game.
Utah State pin fouls on Wyoming, limited bench, as we've already mentioned, and push the pace. They're one of the best, not just in the Mountain West, but in the country of really getting up and down the floor. For Wyoming, you got to rebound simply because Utah State is one of the better rebounding teams in the Mountain West, and you also need to help Hunter Maldonado. They've done that so far with a couple threes.
Not quite Laradice, but Laradice lost. Graham Ike, preseason player of the year, out, foot injury, gone. Noah Reynolds, concussion. He was their leading scorer, out. And of course, 3 players left the program on February 8th, leaving the Cowboys razor thin. They've had their moments. That upset at New Mexico, certainly that. But they've taken some lumps as well. And tonight they're without their head coach, Jeff Linder. Linder has left the team to be by the side of his father, who is ill. Ken DeWeese, Sundance Wicks are co-coaching. DeWeese is the one that will speak to the officials. In terms of timeouts, they said they will consult with each other. Thompson's free throw is on the way. That's the first point for Wyoming that did not come from Xavier Dussel. He had all 8 to begin with. Wenzel out, Oden in. And Utah State has 5 different players who have scored already.
And that is characteristic of Utah State. They've got 5 players that average in double figures. They're a team that really spreads the wealth, so to speak.
14th in the nation in offensive efficiency. You pointed out the best 3-point shooting team in the country, and bench scoring is a real strength. Bairstow kicks. Idlerock, who's played well off the bench lately, misses the 3. Wyoming with the rebound.
Good block out there from Oden. Aiken is one of the best in the conference on the offensive glass.
Trail 3, Thompson missed it, and those are the shots that Wyoming has to hit.
Well, 10 times this year they've made 10 or more threes, so they've got the ability to get hot. But undermanned with a limited bench, you've got to find who's going to step up in addition to Maldonado.
Utah State looks flustered here, and Bairstow, one too many hops.
I don't know about that one. That looked good to me. Sometimes a move is so good it tricks even the officials.
All right, another look. Ooh, that's, I don't know, Dan. I'm glad I didn't have to make that call.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I know if it was in the NBA All-Star game, they would have given him about 5 more steps. You can't even call what that was, a basketball game. That was just like a shooting exhibition and a layup dunk contest.
Maldonado falling away. He really has to work for his points because every team that faces Wyoming zeroes in on him.
That need. To be fair, he doesn't make it easy on himself. He's not a great 3-point shooter. That's something that has never been a strength of his. So he plays in the mid-range. He plays in the post. Defenses converge. He's still good enough to get those shots off more times than not.
And he's playing point guard. Now, he was somewhat of a point guard last year, but that was normally a 2-man game with Ike low and he on a wing. Now Ike's not here. That role has completely changed without Ike.
That was about the most difficult action to guard in the league last year. A 2-man game, but between Maldonado and Ike.
Akin floats that one in. Maldonado waiting for a screen from Thompson and tried to split the double. Ashworth finds Bairstow, who loses the basketball. Utah State likes to play fast, but not that fast.
Well, it was the right play. It was the right pass from Ashworth. Bairstow just unable to corral it. control it and finish. You think he was thinking ahead about the one-hand or the two-hand dunk.
Both of these teams have to bring their own energy tonight because the crowd is rather thin, and that's because a severe storm is supposed to hit here in Wyoming and in Laramie in particular later on tonight and into tomorrow. Idle Rock turned down the three. Ashworth catch, shoot, and normally those go down.
Wyoming dodged a bullet there. That's the one guy you can't lose sight of. More times than not, he will knock that down.
Caden Powell in the game for Wyoming. Maldonado backing down, gets it up, and missed on the hook. Ashworth, for his size, a good rebounding guard. Bairstow kicks, Idle Rock three. It was a line drive. And both teams have kind of cooled down a bit. 8 minutes in, first of two. Colorado State at San Diego State coming up on CBS Sports Network after this one, as it's crunch time in the Mountain West. A conference that has 5 teams in the top 48 of the net. And right now in Jerry Palm's bracketology model has 4 teams in the NCAA tournament. Powell in deep, and he's fouled. Timeout in Laramie. Utah State and Wyoming. It's a 7-point start for the Aggies.
College basketball on CBS Sports Network is sponsored by Principal, helping you plan, protect, invest, and retire. By Daisy Cottage Cheese. Only Daisy Cottage Cheese will do. And by AT&T 5G. Fast, reliable, secure.
1912, Utah State on top. This is a huge game for Utah State. But you know what? Every game they're going to play for the rest of the way is going to be enormous. Because look at this. Top 50 net ranking. Net, of course, is the metric that best parallels the selection committee's numbers. Boise State at 23. And this Utah State team right now at 34. Nevada's at 35. And New Mexico, who's hit a kind of a bump in the road, sits right now at 47.
And Utah State's still searching for a quad 1 win. As of now, they're 0-4 in quad 1. They're fine in quad 2, but there's a possibility, as you mentioned earlier, that Nevada game could shift depending on how Nevada plays the last stretch of the season, become a quad 1. But very difficult to keep track. We'll do our best to explain a lot of those points throughout the night.
And one of the reasons why there's such heavyweights in terms of the net, 5 teams in that top 47, is not only is this conference really good at the top, but the middle is much improved. San Jose State is much better. Air Force is much better. And if the basement is Wyoming, there's nobody below 200 in the net. Not many conferences can say that.
Yeah, that's a really good point as Funk knocks down the three. But San Jose State, last couple years, they were in that 300 category. They are all the way up to 107. And so, you know, that, depending on where it's at, can become a quad 2 win.
Maldonado, Oden off a screen, misses the three. Right now, Wyoming 2 of 7 from distance, so a lot of threes early.
Well, that's a tough cover for a young player like Nate Barnhart of Wyoming. His upside is tremendous, but Taylor Funk, he's got all the experience in the world. Just jab step, loosen the defense, reads the reaction, elevates for the three.
Ashworth off the screen, a floater, and hits it.
He's so shifty coming off, first off, to set up the hand back, and then just the little shiftiness and looking over at the roll man versus shooting it himself. Get the defense to commit to the roll man, open the opportunity for yourself.
That's Maldonado. That's hard work over Atkin for the bucket. One thing that Ryan Odom told us about Ashworth is that he's a better threat off the catch rather than off the dribble, and having to kind of run the team with Ryland Jones out, ball's in his hands a lot.
Look at Maldonado turning the corner on that step-up pick and roll. Because he's not a shooter, a lot of times you say go under the screen, but you have to give some kind of resistance at the point of the screen. You can't give him the direct line to turn the corner, or he will finish at the rim all night long.
Max Shoga's hit a couple threes is back in, and he walks. It's a travel and a turnover.
Good call there from the official.
4 turnovers for Utah State. Shoga knew it. Ryan Odom and the entire community up there really having to support Shoga starting last year. He is a native of the Ukraine and played on the Ukrainian national team. Maldonado with the rebound. Ashworth in transition. Bairstow, the Aussie. Akin, who's a Brit. And Shoga lost it again. Another turnover. Maldonado back to Oden. And a foul. I think it was Ashworth.
Active hands on the defensive end of the floor for Wyoming. Forcing the fifth turnover of the night for Utah State, which is not like them. Allows them to get out in transition. Oden at the line for 2.
Oden coming off a nice game against Air Force. Had a season high 19 points. He's a really interesting player in terms of length and skills. Ashworth sits down. This is where having Shoga as a guy who can handle the ball and Bairstow really helps Utah State in the absence of Ryland Jones.
Idle Rock even has some possessions where he can handle it. Coach Odom trusts him. Actually started for Coach Odom at UMBC when they had that historic upset of #1 at the time, Virginia.
He's the last guy from that team that's still playing. Shoga, that's an ambitious 3. Kick, Idle Rock. This time a little more arc and it goes down.
Got to block out because Utah State is active on the glass. Can't give up extra opportunities, which lead to wide open threes many times.
Foster off a screen. Left hand high off the glass and it goes.
Nice finish for Kenny Foster. He's battled injuries the last couple years. Good to see him able to finish out the last part of his senior year healthy.
Akin calling for the ball. Shoga takes the screen. Thompson and Akin kick. Idle Rock. Clock is down. Shot is up. And a stop by Wyoming. Nice whip pass to the corner, but Thompson misses the 3. And Wyoming from distance now 2 of 9.
But on that last play, that's a perfect example of how much attention Maldonado creates from the defense. Hunter Thompson was wide open, no one within 10, 12 feet of him.
This will be a baseline out of bounds. Just the 15th foul on Wyoming. Utah State has just 3. Not a whole lot of whistles in this game so far. Funk just in time to catch the pass. Shoga. And he's short on that one. Funk can't save it. Yeah, he does save it. But Dussel up the floor. And Funk got a hand on it. Utah State on the roads. The lead is 10 in Laramie tonight. (27-17) Utah State on top. Dan mentioned Ryan Odom and his run at UMBC. We're talking Utah State taking on the road to UNLV. March to March presented by Principal. So Utah State again on the road, and again they're going to have to win that ball game to get themselves in and off that bubble. This is the game you're talking about here. 2018. This is a historic win. UMBC, 16 seed, a 1 seed Virginia, and this wasn't close. 75-54. And of course, Virginia bounced back the next year to win a national championship. There's the profile. Of course, his father, a great coach and terrific basketball ambassador, Dave Odom.
A lot of people see a head coach at a higher profile school like Utah State, but they don't understand all the work and the many stops that lead into that opportunity. You see there are 7, 8, 9 stops or so. So many mentors, I'm sure, had a part in carving up and creating his coaching philosophy.
Shulga away with the ball. Ashworth hunting a 3. Dorius is back in. Do a drop step and a left hand.
Well, single coverage there from Hunter Thompson. Dorius, not known as a post scorer, but when you give him that much space, a guy can get to his sweet spot easily. Nice left hand finish there.
From inside the arc, Utah State is 6 of 6. And 7 different Aggies have scored already tonight. Thompson, they're gonna need some of those threes to start going down. 2 of 10 is Wyoming. 5 of 12 from distance, Utah State. Bairstow. Shulga, another 3, and that's well short. Made his first 2, has missed his last 3.
Well, every shot of his now has come from beyond the arc. He can get hot on occasion. Had a game earlier this year where he was 5 of 5 from beyond the arc, but I think he's best when he puts the ball on the deck.
Yep, it did hit the foot of Dorius. Good call by the officials. David Hall, Greg Nixon, D.G. Nelson, our trio in the Mountain West tonight. Foster again to the bucket and gets that one to drop. Wyoming back within 10. Ashworth open and short. Tries it again. Short again. Wyoming with an opportunity here as Utah State has slowed down offensively. Oden right by his man.
Oh, no help side. But Trevin Dorius, you have to understand, the guy you're closing out to is a lot quicker than you. Close out with some space, contest with your length if he by chance does shoot it from beyond the arc.
Funk more comfortable 20 feet from the bucket.
It would not be fun guarding Stephen Ashworth. The amount of screens they set for him and the movement.
And Bairstow hits his second 3. And look, if you're trying to stop Funk and you're trying to stop Ashworth from shooting 3s, and Shulga, Bairstow, if you give him an open look, will hurt you.
Well, he's almost like the perfect 5th option on a team. You don't have to call plays for him. He's long. He can handle the ball, create plays for others. Defensively, he's really good. He's active on the glass. Another look at the blow-by from Jeremiah Oden. I mean, no help side whatsoever. I'm sure that will be spotlighted in film breakdown tomorrow. That film breakdown may occur here in Laramie for Utah State if they can't get out of here with that impending blizzard.
And we may be sitting in with them. And again, if you're just joining us, we're in Laramie, and much of the United States, and in particular the north and northwest of the country, undergoing a lot of snow And it's supposed to hit Laramie here later tonight. And if you know anything about Wyoming sports, you know that fans from this great state come from all over, 3, 4, 5 hour drives to come in and watch football and basketball. But on a night like tonight, not wise to do so. So if you're sitting at home and nice and warm, we miss you. But the Cowboys playing hard, trying to hang with Utah State. That's a block, and it's off of Powell. And the Cowboy fans that are here aren't real happy.
Well, they're making their presence known. Get another look. Terrific pass from Ducell. Powell goes up. Yeah, it looks like a good block. And then unfortunately off the hands of Powell. You know, they had plans to redshirt him. And with all the injuries and the departures, he's had to play. And to be honest, I think he's played really well. He's got a bright future. He plays hard. He's going to get stronger in time.
Berso drives it to the bucket. Maldonado the rebound. Maldonado backing in. Runs into Dorius. And that's a foul on Trevin Dorius. Utah State's lead is 11. Under 4 in the first. 22-21. Utah State trying to get to 11-5 in the Mountain West Conference. Coming up, AT&T 5G at the half. Ashley Shamady, Chris Walker, Renee Montgomery, and Gary Parrish, the pride of Memphis, standing by in our New York studio to get you up to speed on everything. They may preview that the San Diego State, Colorado State game that's coming up, second end of our doubleheader. Three-point shooting early, especially for Utah State.
6 threes from a combined 4 players. Utah State, 17 of their 24 field goal attempts have come from beyond the arc. I would expect them to balance that out a little bit more, but 6 made threes. They got it going early.
There's your three-point shooting. Wyoming right now 2 of 10. Xavier Ducell has both of the makes for Wyoming, and he's back in the ball game. Foster, Powell, good catch, but Dorius with a block or a foul, and I think a foul. Outside official Greg Nixon had foul, and that's going to send Wyoming to the line.
Powell, only a 59% free throw shooter on the year, only 17 attempts. Ooh. I don't know, Dorius looked like that was clean on the initial touch of the ball, but then got him on the forearm with the follow-through.
Free throw is good. If you're looking for a silver lining for Wyoming in this season, it's hard to find that. True. But a guy like Powell, who you pointed out is getting time and looks good, Wenzel's getting more time. Oden's getting more run. Barnhart has really shined, the redshirt freshman. Ducell getting to do more than he's had to do and doing it at times pretty well. That's, I guess, what you hope for next year pushes you forward.
Yeah, and what you also have to be aware of is they've got the maybe the best player in the conference coming back next year. He has missed this whole year with injury, Graham Ike. 19 points, 9 rebounds a game. Terrific defender as well. You can't just replace him.
Funk drives, charge. Did you hear the crowd in unison yell flop? I've not heard that before this year, but that's when Funk went down in the middle of that play, everybody here was screaming flop.
Yeah, that was...
I think he just tripped.
Yeah.
That's no flop. That's an offensive foul.
Not a flop. That's a great job by Powell to step in front, get outside the restricted area. Funk was grabbing his elbow there when he was about to get up. We'll keep an eye on that, see if there's anything to be really worried about.
So even the fans are quick on the flop trigger now.
They got to change that rule with the rules committee. I mean, a lot of people get upset with the officials. The officials have to call the rule as it's stated in the rule book.
Look at Ducell. Catch and shoot and falling away from 24.
And we made a lot about Utah State's shooting. That's 3 threes in the first half from Ducell.
And here comes Wyoming. They're within 6. Idle Rock turns down the 3. Over Barnhart. who fouls him before the block. Dan Dickow, this looks like you catch and shoot, and I mean quick release.
Well, shooters have to have a short memory on misses, but they have to have a long memory on makes. So he's made a couple earlier tonight. Every single catch from here on out, he needs to be ready to pull the trigger.
And remember, some of these Wyoming juniors have 2 more years left because they have a COVID year. So it's almost like they're sophomores.
And in the transfer portal, you can get old and experienced and improve in a hurry. Unfortunately for Wyoming, the 3 guys that came to them didn't fit, didn't work. They decided on their own to move on, but many teams have improved quickly through that portal.
Maldonado, this time against Bairstow. He's been guarded. There's quick trigger again. Dussel. Blink and you missed it.
What did I say? Catch, ready to fire. Xavier Dussel has caught fire, pulling Wyoming, the Cowboys, to within 3.
Remember when we said, hey, Wyoming's going to have to start hitting some threes to get back in this game, and that's exactly what Xavier Dussel has done.
Back-to-back triples, mind you. Every shooter on the catch, you must be ready. Anytime you are handling the ball in a pick-and-roll situation, you must recognize and realize the defender goes up or gets caught on the screen. That is a shot opportunity. Dussel, he's been prepared and ready. 4 triples on the evening already.
Bairstow, Isla Rock went hard. There was no call there. There wasn't a flop, and there wasn't a charge. I like that, just a play on. Akin in tight, and it's blocked. I think Maldonado got it. Under 2 minutes left. Wyoming, down double digits, has climbed within 3, an 8-0 run. They've hit 4 of their last 6 shots, and a couple Dussel threes have helped.
They tried to get him another look there on the set play.
Rising, Ashworth with the foul, and 2 free throws for Xavier Dussel.
Maldonado, we've spotlighted him with a lot of the stuff he does on the offensive end of the floor. That time in help side, quick reaction to save a bucket with the block shot. Dussel's an interesting player. As a freshman from Scottsdale, averaged nearly 10 points a game last year with so much of the offense running through EK and Maldonado in 2-man actions. His numbers dipped to about 7.5 a game, but the last 12 games in Mountain West play, he's been really good, averaging over 10.5 points a game. Let's continue that tonight.
That foul is costly for Utah State. Stephen Ashworth with his 3rd personal with 1:34 left in this first half on the bench.
Oh, his 3rd foul. He's 1 of 5 from the field. He's the heart and soul of what they do on the offensive end of the floor.
Shoulder off a screen. Man down. That's Funk. And a whistle inside. That's going against Wyoming, and I believe Kenny Foster gets it. Wyoming is within a point. You see the run. Dussel has fueled it. He's got 16 to lead the Cowboys. And again, Jeff Linder not with the team. His father is ill. It was Ken DeWeese, he and Sundance Wicks, another top assistant, running the team tonight. Shoga for an end of 1-1. From Ukraine, and we told you Utah State and Ryan Odom, they're sort of the St. Mary's of the Mountain West in terms of international players, aren't they?
Yeah, 6 different countries are represented on this roster. Many of them have international experience playing in FIBA events.
It's a timeout. Thompson was falling out of bounds. Saves the possession. 1:17 left. Entertaining first half. Cowboys on the comeback trail. Wyoming on top. Excuse me. Trailing 33-31. Utah State with the lead. 1:17 left first half. Looked like Utah State was going to run away with this one, Dan Dickow.
That is until Xavier Dussel hit a pair of back-to-back threes. They've done a nice job of limiting Utah State's leading scorer, Stephen Ashworth, and kind of weathering the early storm of 6 made threes, pull within 2.
Outside of the game, Dan Dickow pointed out, Wyoming needs help for Hunter Maldonado, and Xavier Dussel has been more than helpful. 16 points, 4 of 6 from distance. And this is Dussel, ball in his hands. Foster kicks. Oden on his way in and scores. Now it's tied. 33 apiece.
Difficult shot going left, fading, shooting it with the right hand back in front of the defense.
The run is 12-1. Idle Rock on the way. No. Wyoming's in a spot with a quick shot. They could go 2 for 1. But I don't know that they're really built for that. This is not an up-tempo team.
Yeah, not this year. And it was tight. They corralled the rebound with 40 on the clock. Had it been more around 43, 44 seconds, it would have been a definite opportunity.
Trying for a back cut. Knocked away. And now, Utah State can play for the last shot.
Should be another mid-pick and roll with Shulga.
Atkins waiting with the pick. Shulga, right side, goes down. Block, Thompson. Just before the buzzer. How about this? Wyoming undermanned without their head coach. Utah State 34 in the net. Opened up a nice lead. And we're headed to halftime. Oh, he didn't block it. He hit the side of the backboard. From our angle, it looked like a block. That angle clearly off the glass. 33-33. After the break, we'll send you to Ashley and the gang in New York. You're watching college basketball on CBS Sports Network. March to March, presented by Principal. Apiece, Utah State and Wyoming in Laramie. Utah State had a 12-point lead at one point in that first half. And here we are tied coming into the second half. Rich Welts along with Dan Dickow. This looked like Utah State going to run away with this early.
Yeah, they got going from the perimeter quickly with a couple early threes, and then they got the pace going. But for Utah State, they're a team that's built on shooting the three, and rightfully so. They lead the country in three-point percentage. They were only 6 of 18. That percentage must improve for Wyoming. Xavier Dussel got hot. 4 of 6 himself from beyond the arc. A deep one followed by a heat check. 16 first half points.
AT&T 5G brings you our game summary. The three-point shooting is certainly important, but everything else is pretty much even along the way here.
Well, the thing that's been important for Wyoming is they've been even on the glass. It's been 17-17 on the glass, which is an area where they've struggled at times this year. It's a focus and emphasis of the Aggies, and Wyoming has done a nice job to limit that.
And Stephen Ashworth had 3 fouls. He was 1 of 5 from the field. And again, Jeff Linder, the head coach for Wyoming, is with his ill father tonight. And so the 2 assistants have taken over. Ken DeWeese and Sundance Wicks. And Ryan Odom right now for Utah State. Remember, Utah State had that blistering second half to erase a 21-point deficit against Nevada. And out of halftime, Bairstow finds his way down the lane and misses. Dorius follow won't go. They get a fresh 20 on the clock. Ashworth heaves one up. Bairstow, offensive rebound. And another fresh 20. Shulga driving. Shulga scoring. That's a difficult shot.
Show it, pull it back, finish. Nice attack there from Shulga. But if you're Wyoming, I had just mentioned you were doing a great job on the boards. You got to take care of it on the first possession of the half.
That felt like 3 possessions. And Oden quickly in from that right wing. He's explosive. Bairstow hit a couple threes In that first half, pick and roll, Dorius stripped to the ball. Wyoming forces a turnover, 35 apiece. At stake here for Utah State. They are 34 in the net. They need to win here. They've got Boise State coming to their place. That's a big opportunity. But you got to take care of business along the way. Just so happens along the way is Laradice. Maldonado misses, wanted a foul. Bairstow wide open, Dorius, and he missed it. Wenzel may have gotten a piece. Ball out of bounds, and I'm not sure where it went. Greg Nixon is asking for help. The original call was Utah State's basketball.
Dorius would love to have that one back. Wenzel, good job of contesting, forcing Dorius into the miss, but luckily for Utah State, they were able to recover on the baseline out of bounds.
Crowd not happy. I don't think of the three officials. Let's look at this again. Dorius has missed. That's Wenzel defensively. Watch where the ball goes after this. It looked like Dorius caught it with the left hand.
Crowd has every right.
But obviously you can't review until you're under 2. Funk. That's nice footwork. And a bucket in tight.
Good patience. Get to the middle of the floor. Spin move and then extend away from the defense.
Again, with a pending storm, this crowd's not big, but man, are they into it. Maldonado, and it just rolls out. Free throws coming.
Maldonado didn't score much in the first half, only 4 points, but 4 rebounds and 4 assists. Another look at Taylor Funk. Gets to the spin move and then is able to kind of extend to the finish. Maldonado so crafty, gets an angle, realizes he can't get all the way to the rim, creates contact, and puts an official in the spot where he has to make a call, gets to the line for 2.
Maldonado earlier tonight with his first bucket moved into 3rd all-time in the Wyoming scoring list, past Justin James, who was an outstanding player here. 2,064 points in his career. 1-point lead for Utah State. Bairstow on the move. Maldonado has seemingly had a bigger player on him all night long, whether it's Akin or Bairstow.
That's where Utah State has quite a bit of versatility defensively. Akin, Bairstow, Shulga, all big, strong wings.
Oh, look at that. Missed the shot, though, and a rebounding foul on Utah State. And Hunter Thompson is moving rather slowly right now. You can see Thompson on that replay. He's come out of the game. You see him limping to his seat on the bench.
Not what Wyoming wants to see.
And that's a rebounding foul. Powell really got his money's worth, knocking Akin to the ground. There's Thompson on the bench. They're really thin, Dan. They're just 3 off the bench that play: Powell, Foster, and Wenzel.
We've had Wyoming a couple times in the last few weeks, and with the limited roster, we've asked, is there any thought to bring in maybe a football player who's played basketball at any point? And this deep in the season, it doesn't make a lot of sense because they don't know the offensive and defensive philosophies and structure of things. So they have limited practice anyways, but they're good to go with the 8 that they got.
Shulga coughed it up. Maldonado, Oden trailing, looking, nice dump to Sell. Wyoming on top. First Wyoming lead. Funk with a catch. Ashworth, good head fake. Shulga, corner 3. No. And Utah State, who in that first half hit 6 threes, is now 6 of 20 in the game.
Wyoming hasn't given up any direct line drives, and they've contested every attempted three, but Wyoming will selectively run. Utah State didn't get back matched up, allowing Ducell the easy two, the easiest one he's had all night.
Personnel-wise, Wyoming matches up against Utah State pretty well in terms of size and the type of player that's out on the floor. Neither team has a dominant big, but Powell from Maldonado.
Well, you're in help side. You can't get caught ball watching, especially with Maldonado having it in his hands. He is such a good passer. He's one of those guys I think that likes to make plays for others more than he likes to score.
Break zone here. Next whistle. Ashworth off the screen. Bairstow, it's a three. Wenzel the rebound. Wyoming has the lead and the momentum. A 12-point Utah State lead in the first half. All gone now.
Tons of credit have to be given to Wyoming's defense. Utah State's shot a lot of threes, missed a lot of threes, but it's because they haven't been able to get to the paint and create easy opportunities.
Maldonado diving, directs it to Oden. Shot clock's at 6. It's go time for Oden. That's off of Powell. It's a Utah State ball. And a timeout. Maldonado right now doing a little bit of everything for Wyoming, who's got the lead for the first time. You're watching. From Laramie, you're watching March to March, presented by Principal. Moments ago, outside, the snow is starting, and this storm, which is supposed to hit tonight at some point, looks like it's beginning. It's 32 degrees out there. Tomorrow, the low is projected to be 6 below, and with a 30-mile-an-hour wind that we had today, the wind chill probably down in the -20s.
I walked from our hotel to shoot around today, and about halfway there, I realized I made a mistake because it was that windy. It was beautiful sunny day at that point, blue skies. You made the correct choice and drove over, so thank you for the ride back when shoot-arounds were over.
Of course. Utah State, 3 of 3 to start the game from distance, 3 of 18 since. Idle Rock is in against Maldonado. Gets in the lane, kicks, Bairstow. Ashworth, yes, and that's a good sign for Utah State. Stephen Ashworth, off the catch, where he's so good, is the best three-point shooter, actually second in the nation now. He had someone pass him yesterday.
Oh, 5 on the night from beyond the arc before that one, but credit Bairstow. He had an open 3. He passed it up and found Ashworth.
Now Ashworth trying to defend Maldonado to the corner. Oden, not a good look. Funk, Ashworth in transition. Bairstow trailing.
This is more the pace Utah State wants to play with. Quick decisions with the ball, get it moving side to side.
40 apiece. First game of a Mountain West doubleheader. Colorado State at San Diego State later tonight. Ducell into the corner. Wenzel stepped on the line, and that wipes out a three-point shot. And Ken DeWeese, all he can do is grimace.
He tried to talk the official David Hall into saying that his heels were up. The only time I've ever seen that call not be made with your supposed heels up was Sean Elliott hitting a 3 against the Blazers in the playoffs many years ago.
That seems to have stuck in your memory, having grown up in the Portland area.
I was as big a Blazer fan as you could find growing up.
Ashworth. Little double screen. Driving against Oden. Shot clock's down. Ashworth jumper. Foster has the rebound, and Wyoming, after falling behind 12, has played much better defense and shot the ball much better. Oh, Foster trying to do too much there. Funk against Thompson, blocked by Thompson. Akin is fouled by Foster. Again, Wyoming doesn't really have a true point guard, so it's imperative that everyone's able to handle the ball.
Well, you want to handle the ball, have good decision making when you're in places to make the play. But the big thing is they understand when Maldonado's on the floor, the ball needs to be in his hands more times than not. Foster, more of a catch and shoot kind of guy, lost on that last possession.
Baseline out of bounds. Shulga back in. Ashworth fouled, and he's got 3 coming. And it's Foster again.
I don't know about that one. Hopefully we get a chance to look at it again. Yes, we do. Good call on second watch.
He left that, as great shooters you guys do, you keep the follow through intact. And Foster got the hand. You could see him knock the hand and spin it away. And they are looking at that hand. Not that that's evidence of the foul, but
he'd like to say it, think it is.
If this were CSI Laramie, which is coming, I think, in the future. Mark Harmon, I think, is interested.
You know, Wyoming is a difficult place to get to in the winter months. And we've both been here a number of times, but in the summer, it is unbelievable. Cody, Wyoming rodeo up on the north side of the state.
Without question. And you know what? As tough as it is to get here, it is a great place to call a game.
Yes.
And again, the crowd is probably cut in half with this impending storm because people come from all over this state, travel in hours away, and that's not a good idea tonight.
The only Division I program in the state, so they get support from all 4 corners.
Ashworth, who had a big night from the free throw line in that comeback win over Nevada, gives Utah State a 3-point lead. Maldonado has been a facilitator most of the night. And Dussel has done the work in terms of scoring. He's got 18. He misses there. Akin. Idle Rock finds Akin. Ball fake. Traveled.
Akin didn't like the call, but it was the correct one. Great job from Hunter Thompson. 6 foot 10 inch big from Pine Bluff, Wyoming. Came over in time. Didn't commit early to contesting a shot. Stayed down. That was enough to force the turnover.
And Maldonado loses the ball. That's a good look from Funk. Ashworth is fouled. Dussel and Ashworth back to the line. And a timeout on the floor. Utah State back on top, 43-40. Aggies with a 3-point lead, 12 minutes left in this ball game. One of the great names and players in Wyoming history, Finis Dembo, leading scorer in their history, 2,311 points. Took him to the Sweet 16 in 1987, WAC Player of the Year. Also on the cover of Sports Illustrated, his number retired back in 2019. CBS Sports celebrates Black history, its limitless culture and undeniable impact. Happy Black History Month. Rich Waltz along with Dan Dickow in Laramie, where Wyoming, as everybody knows, is undermanned. They lost Graham Ike out for the season. Noah Reynolds, their leading scorer, out for the season. 3 players left. Maldonado remains, and now he is 3rd all time in Mountain West history.
Well, he's got an outside shot to catch Brandon Ewing, but more than likely won't catch Finis Dembo.
Let me clarify that. 3rd in Wyoming history, and I believe he's 5th now in Mountain West history. Ashworth, free throw on the way.
Only player in Mountain West history with 2,000 career points, 600 career assists. Second in conference history in assists behind Kendall Williams, who played for Steve Alford during some of those really good New Mexico teams. I believe he's 14 behind coming into tonight, so it's only a matter of time before he is the all-time assist leader in the Mountain West.
4-point Utah State lead. Maldonado.
Hands up.
Wenzel can shoot the three, and he buries one.
Perfect lead-in, Rich. That's beautiful.
Well, that's part of his game. He's a 41% three-point shooter. He didn't necessarily create his own shot, but that time he did a nice job. Got some space and buried it. Back to a 2-point game. Akin, who plays starters minutes. That's a turnover.
Not a good turnover. 10 now on the evening for Utah State. They're a team that only turns it over about 11.5 times on the season per game.
Both teams at 10 turnovers apiece. Wenzel now hunting for threes. Thompson rises. Missed it. Idle Rock the rebound. Chance to stretch the lead for the Aggies. Ashworth, who played 39 minutes his last game. Idle Rock stumbles and walks. 11 turnovers. Brendan Wenzel, the junior, the transfer from Utah.
Good recognition. Defender goes under the screen or gets caught up, you'd be able to recognize it and pull the trigger. Brendan Wenzel started his career at Utah. He's been a good fit here.
Maldonado off of Atkins' leg. Fortunate for Maldonado.
It puts so much pressure, does Maldonado, on the defense, whether it's a pick and roll and then turns it into post-ups, or that time a throw and go. Hit and cut right off the recipient of the pass. Try to get an edge on the defender.
Wenzel head fake, cleared for three, and did not get it off. Maldonado against Shoga. Those are two really good players. It's a creative pass. Thompson falling away. Missed it. Ashworth now with 4 rebounds to go with his 10 points. Pick, roll. Thompson got a hand on it. Maldonado finds Thompson. Maldonado, there was contact, but no whistle, and it stays with Wyoming, 11 to shoot. Shot clock down to 4 now.
This is where you've worked on these scenarios throughout the season, to have quick hitters on baseline and sideline out of bounds, late clock situations such as this.
And Zihamoda comes in. RJ Idlerock sits down. Jeremiah Oden for Wyoming comes in for the youngster Nate Barnhart. Four to shoot. Ducell, well, that almost worked perfectly. Ducell hit a couple of difficult threes just like that earlier in the game.
Many times the most dangerous player in a baseline out of bounds situation is the trigger man, the passer, which in that case was Ducell.
Ashworth cleared some space. He's got a dozen.
Relatively quiet in that first half with only 2 points, but he's such a good shooter and scorer. It was only a matter of time.
Maldonado just willing himself to the glass.
That's what you call bully ball. He's going to be able to play at the YMCA with that type of back down move when he's a lot older.
He's going to be playing somewhere for money next year.
Next year for sure, but I'm talking years down the road. That's a play that I couldn't do in my mid-40s now. I had no bully ball in my game whatsoever.
Bairstow misses, and here's Wyoming down 2 with the ball. He doesn't shoot the 3, so that allows defenses, not to have to come out and get him, but he just finds a way to get stuff done.
He's so smart, though. He's strong. He creates contact, which then allows him to find an angle to attack the defense. And right again, in a back down situation, looking for a double. If none comes, he attacks.
It's a good job by Bairstow. And Hamoda has the rebound. That's a rebounding foul on Wyoming. I think it's Odin who knocked down Ashworth. And it is Odin, his second personal. 3rd team foul. Let's see what Utah State dials up here. Shoga gets in deep. Ashworth to Shoga. Wow. Great step through, and Funk with the finish. That's beautiful. Explosive move by Shoga.
Because Utah State has so many good shooters on the perimeter, closeouts happen because you have to take that away or contest. If you're too aggressive on it, attack with the dribble. That's exactly what Shoga did there.
That's an impossibly hard shot by Dussel. Ashworth, look at Shoga going hard. Kicks again, rotate to Ashworth, and a 3, and he missed it. Dussel, the rebound. Crowd wanted to foul.
Yes, they did. Taylor Funk, sometimes you just need to get back on defense. Lucky he wasn't called for one there.
Wyoming is gassed right now. They're really thin. Ken DeWeese calls a timeout. Tight game. Hunter Maldonado is keeping it close. Cowboys and Aggies in the Mountain West. You're watching the Mountain West Conference on CBS Sports Network. Turning back the clock, we can do that here as well. 1943, Dan Dickow. Kenny Sailor's the star of this team. He invented the jump shot. Big statue of him here at the Arena Auditorium. 31-2. They went to New York. It was an 8-team tournament at Madison Square Garden, and they won it 46-34 over Georgetown. And that is the story behind that banner. So you can thank Kenny Sailors, because if he had not invented that shot, I'm not sure that you'd be an All-American or have played in the NBA like you did.
Revolutionized the game with the jump shot, that's for sure.
Here tonight, Wyoming, as they've done, even without all these players that they're missing, has proved to be a headache, especially on this floor. Remember, they beat New Mexico in Albuquerque 2 games ago. Maldonado. Thompson's back in. Wenzel, who has hit a 3. That's a 2, and he misses that. Akin with the rebound. He's got 5 in the game to go with 6 points.
And both teams have really struggled from the field in the second half. Both sitting at 5 of 17 from the field. You want to give a lot of credit defensively, but there's been many contested out-of-character shots throughout the second half on both teams.
6.5 left. Shoga backing down Wenzel. And that's a creative bounce pass, and Hamoda cutting to the bucket. Converts.
Well, recognize that it looked as if Shoga was going up with a jump shot. Hamoda was probably thinking crash the glass. At the last second, Shoga found him.
Odin's pass. Shoga got a hand on it, knocks it out of bounds. And a timeout. Utah State 51, Wyoming 45. You're watching March to March, presented by Principal. Under 6 in Laramie, 51-45, Utah State. We revisit our keys to the game, brought to you by Daisy Cottage Cheese.
Well, Utah State wanted to pin fouls on Wyoming. That has not worked out to their advantage like I thought they wanted to. They also wanted to push the pace. Wyoming doing a nice job of slowing it down. For the Cowboys, rebound. They've hung tough on the glass, only down 4 in that category, and they've helped Maldonado. Xavier Ducell, terrific tonight, 18 points, including 4 made threes.
Imperative for Utah State as they try to get themselves off the bubble and into the NCAA tournament to keep winning games, especially games like this.
Well, they can't slip up. They've got a good quad 1 opportunity coming with Boise State. But when you're a Mountain West team,
Maldonado misses the 3.
More than likely, you're not going to get the benefit of the doubt as if you were in the Big Ten or SEC.
Maybe a little too creative there.
Well, you like the effort from Powell, but you're in a tight game, down 6 minutes or so left. You must value the basketball. You got an extra possession through the offensive rebound. Get it back to a playmaker such as Maldonado and get into good offense.
6 of 18 and 1 of 7 from distance is Utah State shooting in this second half. Hamoda getting some valuable minutes here. Bairstow in the lane, and he misses that shot. And Wyoming sticking around, down by 6, though they're 1 of their last 9 from the field.
And I'd expect pick and rolls turning into post-ups for Maldonado or Ducell.
Hamoda riding him with an arm bar, which is okay in rodeo, which they have a rodeo team here. I know you can't wait to get to the rodeo here in Wyoming. That's on the bucket list this summer.
Yeah, our family's talking about going to the Cody Rodeo again. We went a few years back. It was a lot of fun.
Man down, Ashworth. Ducell's 3. Look at Maldonado's rebound to keep the possession alive. Kick. Oden missed the 3. I'm surprised Maldonado didn't figure out a way to get that one as well. He's been everywhere.
Well, they've done, Utah State has a nice job of limiting him from scoring the basketball, but he's still got 5 assists and 8 rebounds.
Akin in with the left hand. And Utah State now with an 8-point lead, and it feels a little bit like a tipping point for the Aggies.
You need a bucket here if you're Wyoming.
Good entry. Good foul actually by Shulga.
Really good foul from Shulga. Got caught out of position, was Aiken going for the steal. Powell coming over from help side, or excuse me, Shulga coming over from help side, but Aiken on that previous replay does all the little things. He's spent some time at UMBC, was at Cal Baptist a season ago, does so many things that don't show up on the scoreboard.
53-46, Utah State on top. Nevada and Wyoming. So Nevada has to come here and handle Hunter Maldonado. That's coming up Monday night, 9 Eastern here on CBS Sports Network.
They've got a heck of a trio. Will Baker, Keenan Blackshear, Jared Lucas. The parts fit much better this year for Steve Alford.
Without question. Ashworth. Bairstow. Remember, Ashworth is not necessarily the point guard. Bairstow, corner 3, no. And Funk keeps it alive. Tips it out. Fresh 20. Lead is 6. Shulga into the lane.
What a pass.
Finds Akin, who's fouled and scores.
The patience from Shulga. It looked as if he was going to throw it to the corner. Held on just long enough to find Akin.
53-47, Utah State on top of Wyoming. Time now for Worth a Watch, brought to you by Principal Stephen Ashworth, especially as we're headed towards March. Certainly a guy you want to keep your eye on for Utah State. Second leading three-point shooter in the country percentage-wise. Does a lot of things. He has to run the team at times with the loss of their point guard, Rylan Jones, who's still out with an injury. Ashworth, 12 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists so far tonight.
He's also an underrated defender. He does a really good job of understanding schemes of the opponent, how to best take them out. When you're an undersized guard, you have to be smart. You have to know the scouting report inside and out and be able to play angles. He does.
Akin completes a huge three-point play for Ryan Odom in Utah State. 56-47. For Utah State, this is kind of survive and advance. It's not been pretty, but they're in a position to get out of here with a win. And then set their sights on Boise State. They've got UNLV on the road. And then the Mountain West tournament. Maldonado to the line. Coming up, Isaiah Stevens in Colorado State on the road. And number 22 San Diego State is waiting for him. It's here on CBS Sports Network. Chris Lewis, Avery Johnson have the call of that game. For San Diego State, obviously at number 22 in the country. Jerry Palm has them as a 6th seed right now in the NCAA tournament. They are number 17 in the net.
I agree with that. One that I'm a little confused at is Boise State, their projected seed, considering how good they are, and a chance to compete again for a Mountain West title.
Jerry has them as an 11 seed.
Their team that Boise State has battled some injuries. Marcus Shaver could be talked about as a potential player of the year in the conference, but he's been battling ankle injuries and he's missed some time.
Akin back to the line, where he's a 71%. He gets fouled a lot. This is his 152nd free throw attempt this year. And he comes off the bench.
Well, he knows one way to play, and that's aggressive. He attacks the glass. He attacks post-up opportunities. He is not afraid of contact.
Maldonado attacks him, blocked the shot, kick back out. Odom 3. Look who got the rebound. Maldonado. Dussel, hot certainly in that first half. Wenzel, a turnaround. Akin the rebound.
I would not expect Utah State to shoot this with more than about 6 or 7 on the shot clock. I would imagine it's a pick and roll with Stephen Ashworth. Tremendous ball handler, decision maker. Gets to the free throw line, knocks him down at a high clip.
Ashworth actually talking with his coach, Ryan Odom, during that dribble. Baseline drive, floater. Oh, gorgeous. And he's fouled.
That is a big-time shot. A runner on the baseline is much different than a runner from the middle of the floor because of the depth perception and the fact that is you can't use the backboard when you're shooting a runner on the baseline. Bench loved it.
That's even sweeter in slow motion. I mean, no rotation on that ball. I mean, just still as it floats through the air.
Beautiful shot.
58-50. Lead is 8. Under 2. Wyoming needs buckets. Powell going hard, and he's fouled. Fairstow got ball, but there was plenty of body there.
Those are the kind of plays that make you excited for the future of Powell if you're a Wyoming Cowboy fan. Screen, quick dive, and then the attack of the rim with a little bit of added strength. He is going through, and that's a dunk and 1 opportunity.
Wyoming 0 for their last 9 from the field. They're not helping themselves from the line there. 12 of 17 on the night. Just balanced scoring from Utah State. Bench scoring from Utah State. Those are two of their strengths. People focus, and rightfully so, on their three-point shooting. They're the best in the country. They're 40%, right?
Well, I think they've got a really nice offensive attack with what they like to do: screen and rolls, ball movement, player movement. But the fact is, they've got a lot of good shooters. So three-point opportunities present themselves. They're able to knock them down at a high clip.
Obviously, they like the ball in Ashworth's hands in moments like this.
A 90% free throw shooter, or actually a shade under 90%.
And that's where he got most of his points late in the Nevada comeback. He had 20 points, but he was just 2 of 10 from 3, played 39 minutes.
As a team, Utah State, a really good free throw shooting team, nearly 77% on the year.
There's the drought for Wyoming. Ashworth hits him. Lead extended. And it's a 10-point Aggie lead. Minute 45 left. Maldonado weaves in. Shot blocked. Akin. Foul. Late whistle. And it's Akin. Hunter Maldonado is a point and a rebound away from a double-double.
Talked a lot about Utah State and their offensive attack, but they've got to be given a lot of credit for defensively what they've done on Maldonado. Maldonado has been scoring at a really high clip the last couple weeks in Mountain West play. They haven't given him anything easy.
Buck 37 left in this one. Right now, Utah State an 8-point lead. (60-52), Utah State on top. This is the group that Utah State wants to join, and that's the last 4 into the NCAA tournament. According to Jerry Palm, these are the last 4 in, or excuse me, first 4 out.
North Carolina, coming off a national title game appearance, haven't been able to play with any type of consistency this year.
There's the last 4 in, and you see New Mexico sneaks in. They have a 47 net, and Utah State with a 34 net. And I think a lot of people, and some rightfully so, say, well, why isn't Utah State in that group? The net isn't the be-all, end-all. There's other factors, but I think Utah State's deserving as well.
I do too. I think the one thing that's missing is a quad 1 win. That couldn't change, but sometimes there are statistics that get looked at and overemphasized.
Wow, almost a turnover. Bairstow races it into front court, beats the 10 seconds. And now they're going to have to extract it out of the hands of Ashworth, which is not easy, or send him to the line. Shulga. Shot clock's down. Shulga in the lane. Kick out. Funk. That is off the front of the iron. And Wyoming has the ball. Down 8. A minute left.
Got to get something quick.
Dussel hunting for a 3. Gets to the baseline. Fires to the corner. Maldonado. And Utah State has the rebound. 54 seconds left. Ashworth headed back to the line. Well, it hasn't been easy, but this is survive and advance. You get out of here with the win and you say thanks, and now you got to get another win if you're Utah State on the road at UNLV, and you got Boise State coming to what is one of the great home courts in the West up in Logan.
Well, that's what you expect end of February in a conference like the Mountain West. I mean, this is an undervalued conference across the country. The one thing this league does need to kind of really make a statement is have a team advance in the NCAA tournament. Last year, 4 teams in, but none won their first round game.
Dussel hard to the bucket. Missed it there. Ashworth has it. Shoga's fouled. He'll get some free throws now. And it looks like with 40 seconds left, a 10-point lead in Utah State. Well, this doesn't feel like it's in doubt. Getting back home might be. Their charter flight out of Laramie as the snow has started to fall. There are plenty of hotel rooms, though, here in Laramie.
I'm sure they enjoyed their time here, especially looks like going to escape with a win, but definitely would like to get back and be on a normal travel schedule.
Shoga's free throw is good, and a 12-point lead for the Aggies. Maldonado up the floor. And Wyoming just trying to find a shot. Dussel. Oh, man. Some shot that was. He's got 21 now. He has made 5 of the 6 threes from Wyoming, and it's a season high for Dussel. 22 was his career high, but I think that kind of tells the story, doesn't it? They needed 3-point shooting, and they got it from Dussel, but Wenzel hit a 3, and that's it. Those are the only threes.
Big-time shot over a really good defender in Aiken.
Ashworth 10 of 12 from the line. Still a 10-point game. Maldonado wedges it in. And so possession arrow rules with 17 seconds left. At UNLV, then Boise State, and then the Mountain West tourney, and they'll get a shot, you would think, at a quad 1 win there on a neutral floor. Wenzel misses, Shoga has it, and Utah State. Boy, remember that last game? They were down 21, not looking good. Biggest comeback in school history. They beat Nevada. That's a really nice win. And they follow that up with a gritty road win here in Laramie. And Dan Dickow, the rest of the league, will look at this, look at the Mountain West standings. Everybody in that top quadrant's going to have to keep on winning, it feels like. $65-55 is the final. Utah State, Stephen Ashworth come in here and get it done. Colorado State, San Diego State is coming up. This is a presentation, CBS Sports Network, 24-hour home of CBS Sports. Let's head back to the studio in New York. A 10-point win for the Aggies.